I'm in wardrobe with the absolutely delightful and beautiful and gorgeous Sophie Morgan, who is actually on the front of the Guardian newspaper today. I haven't read it yet. What's it about, Sophie Morgan?
It's about the trials and triumphs of Sophie Morgan. That's what it says.
Is it?
It is.
I've just started reading your book as well. Yeah, Linda gave it to me. Linda Wardrobe.
No.
Yeah, honestly, because we were talking about your art. For those who don't know, Sophie Morgan is also a brilliant artist, and I didn't know that. And then Linda, our lovely Linda Makeup, told me, and then brought Sophie's book in for me. And then that day I saw you'd posted some art. Did you know she was a painter?
Yeah, I'm a painter.
Yeah.
On the side.
Yeah,
but it's my favourite thing.
Yeah. But Lincoln had a look and said,
Lincoln's painting.
Yeah, very different.
Amazing.
Well, very different styles. He thinks the same as Sophie as well. He's looking forward to meeting you, actually.
I can't wait.
Yeah, so I thought we'll go for a
Always
coffee.
means a lot when an artist says something nice.
And he thought you were trained as well, because he's self-taught. And you said you're partly trained.
Partly, yeah, not properly. I went to Goldsmiths, which is more of a contemporary art school, and then I wanted to go and learn masters painting, so I did some training in an atelier school, but I just haven't got the time for it. I wish I did. I love it.
Because you're too busy doing a million other things.
Being on loose.
Well, being on loose, travelling the world. The thing is, I said to Sophie this morning, because Sophie is a huge campaigner for obviously disability rights and especially accessibility, and I've learned so much from her. But every time I look at Instagram, she's in some exotic location. So I said this morning, oh, hello, Judith Chalmers. Of course, you forget that everybody under 110 like me doesn't have a clue Judith Chalmers is. And Daisy, our stylist, is stood here looking completely blank at what I'm talking about. Yeah, both. She used to do a programme called Wish You Were Here, which before Instagram and social media was the way we saw the world, through Wish You Were Here. I did it in Dubai 25 years ago. Isla Traquair has just walked in, ladies and gentlemen. Come in. My friend Isla. Dude, no, I'm not. I'm doing my little bit for a podcast.
Oh, right.
Isla, have you met Sophie?
No.
Soph?
Hi, Sophie.
Hello.
Nice to
This
meet
is Isla.
you.
This is Daisy, our stylist.
Daisy, nice to meet you.
I just saw you on this morning. So when I look at my screen and see Isla on this morning, I always go, come down and see me.
Come and have a cup of tea.
What were you talking about? Really grown-up things?
Very grown-up things. We were talking about the strikes, that the nurses and the doctors might combine forces and strike at the same time, which would obviously be catastrophic. We were talking about rising food prices. We were also talking about conservatories and how they can apparently devalue your property by 15 grand because they're viewed as being naff these days.
I love a conservatory.
Well, we were just having that debate, and I said I get the
They
fact
can
that
devalue your property. Oh, for God's sake.
I think that's a load of nonsense. And so can avocado-coloured bathrooms. I think they're coming back in.
Well, they're very retro.
They are,
aren't they?
Yeah.
So yes. Anyway, well, I'm gonna talk to my friend Isla. I'll speak to you later. And Dame Kelly Holmes has just walked in. I'm doing a bit for my Juicy Crack podcast. It was Kelly's birthday yesterday, and for someone, do you know Isla?
No,
Isla, this is Kelly Holmes.
How are you doing,
For someone who was out 2 nights in a row having a few bevies, she looks absolutely incredible, don't you think?
She does. It's sickening.
It is sickening.
Yeah.
Unlike me years ago, who would have come straight to work. Anyway. In a bit for me podcast, Charlene White is here. The beautiful Charlene White. Hello. Looking absolutely gorgeous. And here's my Linda.
Oh,
yeah,
Linda.
Yeah, they're enjoying these little bits of of snippets. So the quality's not always marvellous if I'm sort of out and about, but it just, there's not. Well, I'm either a ranter, but unless I wake up, oh God, yeah. Me and Paul had a 20-minute chat about vertigo. I've got a fellow vertigo sufferer, exactly the same. People listening are going to go, not fucking vertigo again. Just spin off. Yeah, so Charlene's going to come to Cork with us because Charlene never got a chance to see Matty because she went in the bloody jungle, didn't she?
Oh, that's right, because we were going to go in November, weren't we?
Yeah, she never got a chance.
Denise has taken me to Ireland.
And she's never been to Ireland. To be sure, she's not even been to Ireland. The Real Housewives of New Jersey are in Ireland at the moment.
Oh,
they've gone.
There when we go?
No, they're sadly not going to be there when we're going to go. But yeah, so we're excited. Anyway, I'm going to get my makeup on. Bye. talking about our Wordle obsession, me and Linda. So my start word is always Ariel. Linda's is...
Oh, I don't have it. I change it every day.
Oh, you change it every day?
Yeah.
Kelly's is... What was yours, Kel?
Mine was plate.
No. What's your start word? Audio, which is a good one. My sister's is chaos, which is a good one. And another one that works for me quite well is canoe.
Right.
Yeah. That's quite a good
I
one.
might do that for a while. Give it a go with starting with the same word.
Yeah, because just to ring the Wordle changes, Linda. But I've never done the world one because is that about not about flags or something?
No,
What is
this
it?
one is you finding countries.
So it gives you the shape of a country.
No, you just put a country in, and then it tells you how far the chosen country is. It can be 5,000 miles away.
Oh my God, I wouldn't have an absolute
So
clue.
you have to think about where is 5,000 miles in relation to.
Did you go out?
Which I enjoyed it for a while, but then I always get stuck on African countries.
Oh, I'm absolutely terrible with countries and flags.
So,
So is the octurdle or whatever you call it? Is that just the same as Wordle but 8 letters?
I presume so.
Right. Okay. I don't think it's called octurdle, by the way,
There
but
is a Wordle, or it's not called Wordle, but it's all music terms.
oh, I've heard of that. Hurdle. It's HEARDLE.
Is it? Is that what it
so
is?
clever. We were just saying, we wonder if the guy who invented it brilliantly it was only in lockdown he invented it, wasn't it? And then he sold it to the New York Times, and he probably still makes mega bucks out of it. But I just wonder if he wishes he'd hung on to it for a little while. I wish I invented Wordle. Do you?
No. God, we wouldn't be here doing this, would we?
It's like sometimes I look at, I was just daydreaming last time I was at the airport and, pulling my case along on wheels and everything and thinking, what a simple thing the wheels on a case is. Don't you wish you'd done Dragon's Den on wheels on a case?
Well, do you
It's such a
remember the
simple
guy
thing.
on Dragon's Den who did the little kiddie bag with wheels with a drag? You know, the ones
that they sit on and they
sit
can...
on, they look like tigers and elephants.
Oh, my
They
God.
rejected him.
They rejected him?
The wheels fell off in the demonstration.
Oh, my God, it's genius, though, isn't
But
it?
he carried on. He said, well, I'm going to carry on with it. And one of them said, well, my kids wouldn't sit on that. Well, he's
Fast
laughing off the
forward
other
to...
side. Yeah.
But some of the most simple things you think, oh, my God, the years that we trudged massive cases around. Why didn't any of us just think of putting wheels
Elongating
on
your
them?
arms.
I know. Oh, God. My dealer is here. Lee Peart, my gorgeous friend who I've spoken of before, has been to Gran Canaria, where he's been showing off his wonderful body on Instagram. But I asked him to get me some tablets while he was there, so he's come in bearing drugs.
I've got the drugs, but listen, this is sign of the times. They're homeopathic.
Oh God, are they?
That's all I could get.
Well, let me see, and I'll be the judge.
Different pharmacies.
Guess what they're for, everybody?
Vertigo.
Vertigo!
I was going Vertigo, and she was going, what's it for? Anyway, everyone recommended that.
Vertigoheel.
Vertigo or something.
Vertigoheel.
She said you take one once a day, 3 times a day. So 3 a day.
That's why it's
And it's apparently it's
Pauline.
Yeah?
Homeopathic recommended vertigo drugs. Lee's brought them back.
I'm a dealer.
What is it?
Over the barrier.
Because I told you I could only get certain drugs.
Yeah. You give
Oh, Tiff, you feature on my reel today quite heavily. Have you seen it? You'll have to have a look.
I was gonna smuggle them in through customs in the hope that they might strip search me, but they didn't.
I'm spinning around.
Good luck. Let me know. I mean, they might not work. They're homeopathic.
so
I
much.
know, but they didn't have Vertigo.
Well, this is perfect.
Lee, because I'm still hungover, right? You came in, you two were having this conversation a minute ago, but my brain went in that you bought Viagra tablets in. I'm going, why do they want that?
Well, I don't know. He might have brought those, or would he have brought them for me and Paul? I had a friend years ago, a girl, who took a Viagra tablet, and he came downstairs all ready for action to find her, and she'd fainted in the bloody kitchen. She'd passed out in her suspenders and bloody stockings.
Why did she take one?
Because for girls, they can...
Does it help?
Yeah, and she tried half of one. I've never done it. She tried half of one. She fainted. Podcast. We are starting today. We are starting today with the hashtag. We haven't quite decided, but something like "Get Soap to Space." And Dickie, our director's just come in with a space helmet. Oh my God, I'm getting a picture of this. Oh my God, I'm going to take a picture so that when I post this. And Sophie has said, and she will say on the show, that she, for the 20th anniversary of her accident, but she celebrates it because she didn't die. So basically, it's 20 years and she wants to be somewhere amazing and she wants to be in space. So she's written to Richard Branson, and we are trying from today to get Sophie Morgan to space. Okay. So it's end of part one, and we've got a fantastic audience. Is there any men in our audience today? I don't know. Oh, there's one in the front row or so, and we've got a beautiful support dog in the in the front row who's gorgeous. So yeah, Sophie, me, Kelly, and Charlene, and the lovely Lee is back from holiday warming us up. We just had the amazing Heather James on, who is the mum of Deborah James, who died of bowel cancer last year after being the most incredibly inspirational woman that I've known. And her Instagram posts kept me going if I was feeling down, and I would just see her going through what she was going through and think, bloody hell. She raised something like 11 million in the last couple of weeks of her life, and her mother is keeping on the No Buts campaign, reminding people to check your poo to take away the stigma. And the one thing Deborah was worried about, one of the things she was worried about before she died, was that her campaign to have how to check your poo and be aware of the signs of bowel cancer, to put on toilet rolls that everybody buys, had gone through and been okayed and was going to happen. And she was so grateful for that before she died. What a wonderful, wonderful woman, and her mum is carrying on her legacy. This is Kelly Holmes doing a wonderful Tina Turner impression. She's a massive fan. She went to see Tina Turner the musical 5-year anniversary last night, and in lockdown she used to do Tina Turner in her kitchen. So that was causing much hysteria, and she's bloody good at it. She could be a looky-likey, honestly. And she's got the wig and everything on. Fantastic.
That's a long way to be in. Everyone will be likely. Thank you. Have a moment.
And backstage, and Ed, who is one of our production team, has just come up to me and congratulated me on my sobriety. And Ed is how many days sober?
I'm almost 500 days sober.
500 days sober. And how long had you tried to get sober before?
Several times. Most of the time I was unsuccessful. But yeah, it just kind of got to a point where I knew that if I didn't change something, my relationships with my family and my friends...
Well, my thing that I put on Instagram was, when alcohol is making you miserable and you are making your family and the people who love you miserable, it's time to stop.
Yeah, 100%. And
have your family and friends been supportive?
Yeah, so amazing. And also just like, I don't know, everything kind of just fell into place as soon as I made the decision to go sober. Everything improved. I can't imagine my life like...
Do you know what it is, Ed, as well? I just think that what people don't understand is that the amount of self-esteem you get back. Oh, when I go into a room now and I talk to people and I see them looking at me, not that they necessarily know my story, but with respect. And all we used to do, as I'm sure you're the same, is wake up the next day and think, what the fuck did I say to that person?
Honestly. I spent so much time hating myself, and I just wasted so much time. I was so unproductive, and it tore everything apart. And as soon as I made the decision to prioritise myself, everything got
And
like, so much fun.
and the thing is, we all have that worry of, oh, am I still going to be fun at a party? And you realise how much of a nightmare we were at parties. We weren't fun.
No, and I was always the person who everyone would look at and be like, either they're a mess or like they're pressurising everyone else to be getting fucked up. And, I thought I was being fun, but in reality,
we thought we were. We were being a nightmare. We were just a mess. Oh, it's lovely to talk to you, Ed.
Very nice
I want
to
to
talk
keep
to you
little
too.
tabs on you. Thank you. Hannah, who used to work here and is now working on Love Island, is back in town. Why are you back?
Oh, just on my lunch break. Just sort of pop in, say hi.
How's Love Island going?
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
What stage are you at of the show now?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm just booking
You're booking the travel for people.
Yeah.
Is this for Mallorca? Are you going to go to Mallorca?
I'm not sure yet. It's not confirmed, but fingers crossed.
But you're enjoying it?
I am. Yeah. I love it.
I love Hannah and I miss her and she's obsessed with my son.
Got down 12:30. I'm just saying, drop the kids off at school. It's weird. 1 minute you're dropping the kids off to school, 3 hours later I'm sat in Soho House. It's like another world.
Another world. I'm doing
Great outfit.
Juicy Crack bits and bobs. I'm with my sister and my niece and they've never been to my flat before, and you walk in and it's like quite colourful, and my sister just saying that she always goes for neutrals and I'm the sort of colour queen. Because my friends... Yeah?
Oh, sorry.
No, you can say doing a podcast. I'm doing last week I did, that was the week that was, all my little week bits of snippets.
Oh, right.
Right. So as soon as Deborah knows she's been recorded, she does this thing with her eyes. So even though you can't see her face, her eyes have widened because she knows she might be recorded. So we're off tonight. Where are we going, Deb?
And we're going to the theatre to see the Temptations, the musical.
Exactly, which I've seen before and which you've all heard about. And I've got my lovely niece Liv here. And Harrison has just, he's got one more day.
One more day.
And they've been singing his praises at Loose Women. So you were saying today you were in all different departments.
I went to somewhere far afield for like a 40-minute drive to get an astronaut helmet that was then on for 2 minutes.
Is that where you went? Did you drive or did you go with somebody?
No, I didn't drive. I was in an Uber or something.
Sophie Morgan, who is my friend and colleague. Sophie is a wheelchair user and she celebrates every year it's 20 years since she had her accident. Now, you might think that's bizarre, but she celebrates not dying in that accident. So although she's been paralysed from the chest down for 20 years, she sees that she's alive. And I think that's an amazing flip of a narrative. So she wanted on the 20th anniversary to do something literally out of this world. She wants to go to space. What? And so... we're going to start #Send Sophie to Space. Our production team at Loose Women have also started making the right contacts to your Richard Bransons and Jeff Bezoses and all those people and see if we can actually get her to go to space in August, like William Shatner did. Or she said the second best thing would be Virgin Richard Branson has zero gravity flights that you go up as high as you have zero gravity, but it's not quite space. Because you imagine you don't have the use of your legs, how amazing it would be to be weightless.
Yeah.
So
and a tenuous link here, but Sophie knows Olivia's school friend, Kate Stanforth, who has also used a wheelchair sometimes.
Is that the girl that was doing the dancing?
Yes. Yeah.
Who's Kate Stanforth? Do I know her?
We've been in school since first school, but she got poorly with the ME when we were doing our GCSEs, so 14 years ago now.
She's now got...
She's got a syndrome to do with... the joints are dislocated.
Yes, I know.
It's the ME. She's been other health complications as well, but she...
So she knows Sophie?
I don't know that. Mum's saying...
Oh, Sophie's brilliant. I've just started reading her book, Driving Forward. She's also an amazing artist.
Oh, right.
So, yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Thank you so much for listening to the Juicy Crack podcast. I am loving doing it, and I'm loving having my own voice that's only edited by me or, DK. If you're enjoying it, tell your friends, and let's try and grow our Juicy Crack audience so that I can bring you better content every single week. Also, leave a question and I will endeavour to read it out and answer it for you. Thank you. Debbie and I are on a tube, having seen, I've been to see Ain't Too Proud again, and I've been to see it again, and we loved it, didn't we, Deb? Yeah, Deborah's now gone quiet. Radio silence from Deborah. Because we're Motown obsessives, and I was kind of more excited about seeing it with Deborah just because we love it, but it's just got us talking about how, which I mentioned in a previous podcast, about our party days, and when Debbie was working in the Teo clinic when I was doing Yakety Yak in the West End, and I used to be coming in at 4 a.m. and Debbie was going out. But we were saying that we used to walk like through Tottenham at God knows what time, didn't we? Through tunnels and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember feeling at all
nervous.
Or anything, no.
I mean, they say that statistically the danger is, well, I don't know if it's the same. It's just that we didn't know about everything then. And now how the kids don't even party. Deborah said that she would come home after work, go back to Tottenham because we were staying at my friend's, and then I'd ring her and say, oh, I've got tickets for a nightclub. And you would just come back in. Now we'd go, oh my God, we've had jammers on since 4 p.m. It's so funny, the difference of my sister and I, who we are very alike in many ways, but me being the performer, you should see Deborah's face as soon as I go, I'm recording. It's like the recording face goes on. She's been nattering away willy-nilly.
I also can't get a word in edgeways about what to do.
You can, but then I ask you a question, you just go a monosyllabic answer. But this also reminds me on the tube of when I used to sit opposite Debbie and I'd just look at her and make her laugh. And then when she was hysterical to the point of crying and being sick with laughter, you know, when you get that ridiculous giggles, I would then go stony-faced and silent, and Deborah looked like she was just pretending I didn't know her. I was trying to do that over there, but you were just in a world of your own. We're all having a lovely dinner at our friends Jules and Sammy's, and I'm sat with Jules on my right and Evie to my left and Sally Lindsay to me far left, and I'm telling them about Juicy Crack. Telling them about Juicy Crack. Yes, this is Sally Lindsay. So we're just talking about a programme that you've got to watch called
Scotland Sings.
Scotland Sings, and it's going to be on what channel?
It's going to be on BBC One Scotland. So, if you look at it's Evie Burnett on Instagram.
Evie Burnett on Instagram.
And that's with a Y. I will tell you all about it, but maybe Denise will tell you all about it as well.
So hang on a minute, Burnett with a Y, how does that work?
No, Evie is YVIE.
Oh, YVIE.
She's not even drinking.
You're thinking it of EVIE.
YVIE Burnett. But anyway, it
sounds lovely.
But it's going to be a lovely show.
And Sal, tell us what you're working on. Right, because of course Sal is sat with her gorgeous husband Steve White, which of course if you watch Madame Blanc, which I know you all do, that's Mrs. White. There you go, that's right.
So Mrs. White is sitting next to us.
When you write something, Sal, with somebody else, I'm always fascinated because obviously my godfather Steve, remember, is Ian Lefrene, famously wrote with Dick Clement, Likely Lads Porridge. That's my godfather. And so they have always written together in the same room. That's how they write. They really found a struggle through COVID to write separately. They still managed it, but it was just really hard. How do you do it then?
It's really bizarre because I'm way the other way, me and Sue. So what happens?
This is Sue who wrote
Sue Vincent. So she plays Gloria in Madame Blanc, but she's also we write it together. So what happens is she always calls me Agatha. I do the plot. So I do all the
And do you think of in like a Madame Blanc mystery, before you sit down with pen and paper, do you think of the beginning, the middle, and the end of that episode?
Usually I know what the Geneva is, not the end. And I know what the start is. Sorry, that's Harold Vorderman and Richard Arnold just shrieking and trying to get attention. Very, very lousy. And somebody's had a beer. Yeah.
ITV trying to this.
I put the the initial sort of murder or mystery at the start, pre-title. And how do you think of that? What it was done when I came up with the idea. I've always created ideas. I came up with the idea, and what happened? I couldn't. It got commissioned like straight away, which has never happened to me. Like Scott and Bailey was 6 years. The idea straight away of the treatment. Yeah,
Did you panic then? Because no, I've got these stories now.
Absolutely ecstatic, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then I thought, right, I'll find a writer. So I must have asked my friends. I must have asked about 7 writers. Can you not? Because they obviously wanted a script to see. They wanted the idea, but they wanted to see what the tone was. So we had to sort of pay for a script, the company. And nobody was free.
All the good writers are busy.
Yeah, so no one was free. And my mates, and I went, can you just do a little one? So me and Sue had only ever written comedy before. And I didn't know if I could do murder mystery. But like you, I'm obsessed with murder mystery. I've been since I was little. And, Agatha Christie, Conan Doyle. So I said, Sue, we're going to have to write it. I was on holiday. Whitey wasn't happy. He was like that in the pool with the kids going, are you coming in or not? Yeah. And I'm like that. I can't get this script in. So I said to Sue, look, I'll write the plot. If you can flesh out the dialogue, because Sue's brilliant at dialogue. She writes the Bible as well, totally overwrites. And then what happens is we get together and we sort of bonsai it together. And because we're actors, we read it out. So we read all the characters out.
So, and then say, I don't think she would say that.
Well, sometimes you know this, Den. You get amazing scripts, but you can't actually say them. They look great on the page, but you can't say them. And it's a really weird thing because a lot of writers, most writers are absolutely brilliant, else they wouldn't be doing it. But there's some writers, especially if you're in a soap, that you get someone you just can't say it. So what we do is we act the whole out and then we cut it again. So in answer to your question, that's the only reason we write it. So we got past Richard Arnold. She's gobby.
Carol Vorderman, another laugh.
Listen to him. And I'm trying to bloody speak. It's like all the time. So that's the only reason we're the writers, really.
Because I can never think of I can't think of you know how you watch like one of your episodes and think, how do they think that would happen? And then you forget that little bit's happened and that leads to that. I'm quite good at the dialogue. No, I couldn't think it's not the story. I'm better at if that was, I'm better at the dialogue coming in.
And that's not what Sue does. I do. So what we do, the system me and Sue have is quite unusual, really. We're completely opposite to your Godfather. I will write the plot like a very strict scene structure of what happens, plot, all the little bits that go in. Usually, when I get to a certain end of a plot, and I'll twist it again, and then I'll see if I can twist it again, and then I'll go back and add
right.
That's how I do it. So you just keep twisting and twisting until it comes out. And I mean, honest to God, Dan, it's a nightmare because you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're writing and go, that's it. And I'll have gone to bed nearly in tears going, I can't do this one. Every time I go, I can't do this one. I don't know the ending. I don't know what I'm doing. And then I love it.
Did you panic? Did you have that thing of like, how writers have that real pressure when they've got a deadline and that you've been commissioned? That must be a pressure.
I mean, but also because we were, and then they said, right, okay, so you two writing it then, and we went, yeah. And it's brilliant, really, because there's only 14% of female writers on primetime TV.
Yeah, I know there is. 7% only 7% of directors are female. As well.
Oh, we're allowed to do soaps. 50% soaps, 50% directors.
But not real.
No, you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to do the big stuff on soaps. So on a Saturday night or nighttime drama with 2 women writing it and producing it, it's a real. It's great for me. But then, so what happens is I write the plot, very strict plot. It's usually about 20 or 23 scenes, sometimes more. And then Sue goes away, writes it, overwrites it completely, overwrites every scene. And then
have you put the characters in by this time? Say it's not your regular characters, it's your guest characters.
Created all that.
You've created them before.
Yeah. And then, I mean, and what Sue's brilliant as well. It's a real we really go to our strengths. She'll have found something, like it can be on the most obscure art show or bargain on them. And she'll say, oh, you want to see this? It's amazing. There's this thing that does this. So I'll take all that information that she's given me and stuff I've found myself and then just all that in my head and then I go in with a plot. Yeah. She writes it. Then we're literally on FaceTime and we spend probably about 3 or 4 hours honing it all down. Then we read it to each other the next day. And then we deliver it, and then we get a million notes asking us to change it.
Oh my God, I can just imagine the stress of it. But then again, you've got a bloody successful series. I mean, I honestly couldn't be prouder of Sal. I mean, really, no, honestly, with Scott and Bailey, that Louis did a little bit. That was amazing. It was one of Louis' first little jobs. He was in a little scene in Scott and Bailey. My therapist is writing a book about no, and I know there is lots of books about the power of no. But Link and I, of yin and yang each other, because I have been a people pleaser and a yes person all my life, and I know it's because of my dad. She's made me, because I couldn't love anybody more than my dad, but she's made me analyse that, because my dad would, in the days like when me and Sal were in Corrie, there was no internet, so all your fan mail came into these pigeon holes. They were all shoved in there, and they weren't vetted. So I would just send everything up to my dad, and my dad. So therefore, everybody who wrote for a charity or a fan would always get some response because my dad did it, you know. But then when I was with Lincoln, and I'd be like really busy and you know, and you'd be so looking forward to your first weekend that you had off, and Dad would go, well, that woman wrote to me again, you know, about such and such fate, and I've said you'd probably do it on that Saturday, and I'd go, Dad, listen to me, I can't, and he'd go, I mean it, Evie, you'd love it, he would go, I mean, it's only a couple of hours. I said, Dad, that's my weekend, God.
It's the only time you have.
That's my weekend, and you have to be precious. But Sam, it's hard because you know how some things play on your heartstrings.
It's slightly different for Sammy and I. So Sammy jets around the world. I jet.
So Sammy and Jules work for the RAF.
Yeah, and
in high-powered jobs.
Sort of. They are. However, you know, there's times that we'll meet up in Italy for a half a day, and you come back, and then you've got the kids, and you've got your parents' evenings and the guilt and everything else. And sometimes we come home, and when we're home, we might be a weekend in 8, say, together. And actually, all we want to do is pick up a nice bottle of red wine, have a nice dinner, and then all these people descend on you. It's like family, you know, some in Devon, some up north, and
you haven't seen us for a while.
6 weeks, it's time for
our time now, and it's a nightmare. Me and Steve have not seen each other properly.
And sometimes, you know, you commit, and you do commit, and then you start to feel that you're always the one saying, no, I'm sorry, I'm ill or whatever, because you get back and you are so tired. You know, you've really, the time has to come in your life that you say no.
You have to say, thank you, Leah. You have to say no for us. Honestly, well, I'm not going to say that, but case in
like that, and I think people understand.
But not a lot of people do.
But you know what, Evie? If Lincoln say not something that's all arranged and not like this, if it's a much more casual thing, right, of him going out with a friend or something, he'll ring and go, hiya David, just say it's his friend, hiya David, listen, I'm absolutely not feeling it tonight, mate, I'm absolutely knackered. And David will go, no worries, mate. I go, hi, my whole family have been wiped out in a natural disaster, and I'm really sorry, but you know, I've got to get to India immediately. Okay, bye. Just so no one cares. Just exactly the same day.
Those people are probably relieved. They're probably thinking, thank God it's not going to be bothered either.
God, because there's something great on the telly and I don't have to do it. Like Australia's on and I don't have to go.
How many times do you think, oh yes, it sounds great at the time, but then the day comes and you think, God, I just want to sit there in my PJs.
Equally, every night. Sometimes it is
always, but nearly every night we would just rather sit in our PJs.
Yeah, we would.
I mean, that is just the best.
Steve always says, why do you have to go? I have to come back in again. That's why I'm a rock star.
7 mile run.
But my kids, I can't get my Louis to party. I mean,
Yeah. But I cannot, I said, and when he was 21, he went, oh my God, Mum, we don't really do parties and going out late at night at nightclubs and stuff. And it's like, oh my God. They just don't want to do, which is nice. Just get out and live. I never went home until my 50s.
I was climbing out of our bedroom window when I was 15. And now my son said to me, my 15-year-old said to me 2 weeks ago, Mum, can I get the train to Clapham? Absolutely not. You're not old enough.
Last hacienda at 15.
It's like partying on my
used to go outside. Get in the car.
So, fabulous night. Had by all last night. What a group of people there was. It was absolutely such fun. We've been to 2 incredible dinner parties the last 2 weeks, considering we can go a year without going to any dinner parties. But when people just get the right mix of people. And also, Jules, who was our host last night, instead of putting the names on the nameplates, she did a little thing with what do you call those ping pong balls with numbers on, so that we just picked one out and then we were where we were. But there's only about 10 of us, but it was really, really great fun. So we're off to see our grandson today, which we're excited about because we haven't seen him for a couple of weeks. Well, I haven't seen him for about 3 weeks. Yeah, and then we're off to Suffolk. So we were going to Los Angeles today, but because of the V word, the vertigo word, we've postponed our flights till later in the year because I need to get the results from the specialist before I embark on a flight that might trigger it again. So we're going to a lovely windmill in Suffolk. So I shall catch up with you later. Bye. So guys, if there's anything that you've ever heard me talking about that you'd like to hear more of, or indeed anything you can suggest that me, DK and Lincoln can bring to the table, contact me on denisewelshpod@gmail.com. And indeed, if you've got any questions, ask away. We'd love to hear from you.